and welcome to How to Sell Deluxe Resorts. My secrets to making sure that you're able to sell a deluxe experience. My name is Dana Zivisak, and I'm a travel agent educator. I teach other agents the things I did to build my business in a step-by-step fashion. All right, so let's get on to the question of the day. So even if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to share with me, when you travel, do you book rooms with a view? Okay, so tell me in the chat or tell me in the comments, when you travel, do you book rooms with a view? And I am going to make sure this is everywhere it needs to be. Okay, oops, hold on. Okay, if you're just joining us, please tell me in the comments, are you a person who books a room with a view? Okay, please let me know. I would like to hear your opinion. Okay, so write in the comment, when you travel, do you book a room with a view? And I am going to, let's go through. I'm going to make sure this is in all the different places because Facebook is like that. Okay, so just tell me in the comments, are you a person who likes to book a room with a view? Or does it depend? All right, so there we go. I'm going to just post this in here. Whoops, no, I don't want insights. I want to post. Okay. Okay, so I am someone who, as I am traveling, been an agent for now, over 12 years. And I want to make sure this is in here. I am starting to appreciate a view more and more. Okay, and tell me if you agree with me, because, I used to think, well, I want to be as cheap as possible. Don't want to spend money on a view. And to tell you the truth, it depends on where we are. Okay. It depends on where we are. If it is something that I am going to derive enjoyment out of seeing out of my room, like for example, when we were in Toronto for the Blue Jays, because we are trying to get to all the baseball stadiums, we did a stadium view room, because they have a hotel that's actually in the stadium. It's really cool. And like, it's so funny. I was watching the ALCS and I could see the room that we were in from on the camera. And I was like, that's really, really cool. What a cool experience. That to me was part of the experience. Okay. But if we're just staying somewhere for one night and we're just sleeping there, then no, I don't care about the view. So tell me in the comments, what do you do? Are you a view booker, or are you someone who likes to save the money? And either way is fine. So let's talk about, because the view is actually part of, selling a deluxe experience, is that elevated experience. Thinking about being part of a, an elevated experience that might cost more people money, or might cost more money, but have a better experience. You cannot sell from your own pocketbook. And I'm sure you've heard this several times. So we have to start with this mindset of, this is the price. It is going to be the price. They'll either want to do it or not. And if you have qualified your client well, you will have an idea of what their price range is. Okay. So first of all, don't think that just because, take all the preconceived notions out of your head about price and what people might be willing to pay. Okay. You have to ask them, what kind of experience do they want? And if they want this experience and they don't have that budget, then, you match them up correctly. But don't start from your own pocketbook. You want to get the clients what they want, okay, and go from there. Okay. Now, here's the thing though. In order to properly sell deluxe, okay, in order to properly qualify someone, you need to have experienced it for yourself. Now, that does not mean you have to stay in a deluxe hotel every time you travel. That does not mean you always need to have the oceanfront room, okay? But you need to go and experience it, because your experience is what allows you to sell it, okay? By having gone on, for example, after visiting Turks and Caicos, okay? We're about to go there next week, so I am just so excited. But it's so much easier to sell when you have experienced how wonderful it is, how welcoming it is, just the overall sense of feeling like you're at home. Okay, that's how I feel when we go to beaches, Turks and Caicos. It's just this feeling, okay? And that emanates from you, okay? That emanates from you. When you've had that experience, you share it, and it's just easier for you to explain it to the client. And also, it's easier for you to tell them about the experience. Today, in a coaching call with my sales playbook course, that actually wrapped up today, but we were talking about when qualifying a client, you want to make sure you're giving them the idea of the experience versus just, oh, well, this resort has this pool and this and this and this versus this one has this, this, and this. No, you have to tell them what their experience will be from when they walk in the door to when they leave. All right. And the best way to get that is to have that personal experience. Now, can you stay at every deluxe hotel? No. Well, you could, but it's probably not doable. But you can go and visit. So say you specialize in Disney or Universal. You don't have to stay at all of the top tier hotels to go and experience it. You go over, you have a meal. You go over and you take pictures. You see what the pool looks like. You see where the crowds are forming. Get an idea for the area, not just pictures. You want an idea of the experience, okay? And so even if you're not staying there, you can go and you can just watch and observe. Okay. Like I said, you can't go in the pool if you're not staying there. You don't have to go in the pool. Okay. But you can go and look and see, okay, is there a lot of people? Is there a long line at the pool bar? Is there, what's going on here? Okay. And then if it's a theme park resort, well, what's the transportation like? Are you lining up like one after another in like a straight line going through a queue? Or is it relaxed? Is it covered? Are there benches where you just wait for the bus to come? That's a difference between a deluxe hotel and a value resort, even a moderate resort and a value resort. Value resorts have these big, long lines that you wait for the bus. Moderate and deluxe resorts, you have a bench. You can sit down. You can wait. You don't have to wait in these big line things. Okay. That's a big difference for me. And that's something I tell people. And you don't even think about it as, well, would that be a deterrent? Would that be something that, yes. Okay. You're thinking about the overall experience someone is having. Okay. And if they're all right with lining up in a queue for the bus, fine. But some people might be like, you know what? I would like to be able to have a bench and just relax while I wait for the bus. Okay. So you have to know that experience in order to present it to the clients and then to sell it. Okay. You can't just read off of a paragraph. Okay. This is what this hotel has. This is what this hotel has. You need to make it part of who you are. This is why specializing is so important. Okay. You have to know what you're selling, because if you're not, it's so much harder to do. Okay. You have to be familiar with the product. You have to be familiar with the destination. You have to be familiar with the ins and outs of the travel so that you can match the person to the correct resort. Okay. And or the correct cruise line or the correct stateroom. All right. So by experience it for yourself, either on your own personal travel or get on FAMS. Go and see these destinations. Okay. They will take you on site inspections. And I want you really to be paying attention about everything, not thinking about when you're going to have free time. No, you're there to go and experience the destination, but also to observe it and think of how you can sell it, because that's what brings you income. Okay. Sales is what brings you income. So when you're going on site inspections and things like that, you want to make sure that you are actually making the most out of all those visits, that you're looking at different things. You're looking at, well, what's the flow of this resort? What's this? What's that? So that way, when you're qualifying somebody, you can actually match them well. Okay. Then the last thing is, once you've experienced it, and here's the thing, you experience it, you go on FAMs, you do the tours, you pay attention. Okay. Site inspections are so important for this. Okay. Not only do you need the content for social media and all that, but you need to hear from the people on the resort about what differentiates them from the resort down the street, what differentiates this room from this room. You are learning. Okay. And you should be paying attention and noting all the things you can, because guess what? That's the difference between you and someone else. When you go in on these site tours, you are going to be a sponge. So this is an example. This content is from a FAM I was on, a site inspection at Universal. Okay, they brought us in the club lounge, showcase the possibility. I have never stayed club level at Universal. Okay, but I have pictures from the club lounge, because when I was on the site tour, they took us there and I took the pictures and I notated what is possible. So, but I've had lots and lots of clients stay club level at Universal. Okay, because to them it's a value. Okay, but not to every client. So that's how you have to know, but you have to put it out there. Here's some other examples of putting it out there. Okay, have I stayed in the Fire Sky Reserve Villa at Beaches Negril? I have not. Have I toured it on a site tour? Yes, I have. Okay, so even though I didn't personally stay there, I got a beautiful tour. And guess what? You don't get to, that's why this is so important. Whenever you're on property somewhere and you have the opportunity to do a sales tour, do it. Okay, because you want to get into these different rooms. You want to showcase the possibility that, hey, you can have this. This could be for your whole family, and this would be your view for 7 days. Okay, wow, that is something. Okay, and that is something that people will say. So these villas sleep up to 10 people, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 10 people, and it's oceanfront. Okay, and then the one with the view from Epic Universe, from my client's park view room. All right. To her, this was everything. Those nice long windows, being able to look out onto the fountain, see the show, but showcasing that this can be your view. Okay, you have to put it out there, and you have to put it out there often, positioning it as this can be yours. All right. And if you're not positioning these options, then you're not going to sell them. Okay. So step 1, you have to believe that you can sell elevated products. Okay. Because not everybody has the same wallet as you do. All right. We're not selling from our own pocketbooks. Number 2, you have to experience it yourself somehow, whether it be on FAMs, site inspections, on your own travel. Okay. Experience it for yourself makes it so much easier to sell. And then finally, you want to share this possibility. You want to make sure your social media content is showcasing the best of the best. Now, yes, you can also showcase the value and budget and all that. Absolutely. But you don't want to ignore what's possible. Okay. You don't want to ignore, because there are people who book these rooms are sold out. These Fire Sky Reserve Villa, these giant rooms, these giant suites, they're sold out. People are booking it. You want them to be your people, right? All right. So join me tomorrow. We're going to be doing a little strategizing for 2020, end of 2025 marketing, ending your year strong so we can have a strong start to 2026. And remember, I am doing mini classes this week, next week, and the next week. So if you want to get reminders or add it to your add it to your phone calendar when I'm going to be going live, I have a link here. Maybe I do. Hold on. They changed my okay, anyway, make sure you're on my email list. There we go. Make sure you're on my email list, and I send out the links to this through email. And if you are not, comment below, and I will make sure that I will message you, and you'll get you on my list. That way, you know when I go live. All right. Have a great day, and I will see you back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Okay, 1 o'clock tomorrow. Bye bye.